Hi all, Elaine here from MRE Studio Designs, and today we're going to try to make a pendant with a Celtic knot, and we're going to use a very simple pattern. We have some green Primo clay. This is actually a one of their holiday greens. It has a lot of mica powder in it. We have the 18 karat gold, craft knife, our extruder, and we have a fairly nice size circular hole in there. Our roller, piece of glass with the picture that I want to copy, and of course our pasta machine. So let me get set up and I will be right back. Okay, so what I have here is the design that I want to make, and I have rolled out a nice long piece of snake out of the green, and I did that off camera because my extruder makes this excruciatingly annoying noise. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at what the design entails, and rather than try to do it all in one piece, I'm looking at the one side of each one, which is basically an elongated C. So that is what we're going to cut out so that our points will be at an angle and we won't have to worry about trying to get them pointy enough. So we're just going to start out by covering the first C, just like that. Take our knife and cut that right there. And that is going to be our first one. Right there. So we need to make 4 of these. So that's the first one. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and line these up where they're supposed to be. We'll start with this one here. And what we need to do is make these cuts at an angle, like so. There we go. All right. Now, when we're looking at this, we're seeing which one goes on top and which one goes below. So this one is going to be below, and this one is going to be on top. So the one that goes below, this one's going to be below, and this one's going to be on top. So it's on top, below, on top, below. So it's on top, below, on top, below. And the ones that go below, we're going to make a little bit of a dent in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take maybe the end of a paintbrush. And this one is below. So we're going to make a dent right there. This one is above. This one is below. And another dent right there. Okay. So then we're going to take our next piece. Take this one off for a moment. This one is going to go this way. So this one is below, this one is above. So again, the one that is below, this one is above, below, above. So this one is the one that's on the bottom. So we're going to put a dent in there. This one is on the bottom. So we're going to put a dent in here. So we're just getting everything ready to get put together. And again, this one is below, this one is above, this one is below, this one is above, and this one is below. So we have this one which is below. I'm going to put a dent in there. This one is above, this one is below, this one is above, this one is below, and this one is above. And the same thing with the other side. Now we're going to do our cuts. This one needs to be at an angle. This one needs to be at an angle. So now, this one is going to be above. Put these two together, form a point. This one is going to be below. Separate that for a minute. This one is going to be above. And this one is going to be above, like that. And this one goes, oops, goes below. Do one more here. And that one's below. Did we not cut that one at an angle the right way? There we go. And then we have this one, which starts there. It goes above, and this goes below, like so. And then this one goes above, like so. And then we have this one which goes below like that. And we need one more right here. Impression. Pick the whole thing up and slide that underneath, just like that. Okay, so once you have everything above and below where the knots are, so they're not sticking up all over the place randomly, then you could start to kind of fine tune it a little bit. Get your loops where you want them to be. Get the the points together. And that's your basic knot right there, just like that. So when they go above, you're going to make a little indentation on the one below it. And where they go below it, you're going to make an indentation on the one that's on the bottom. So your indentations are going to depend on whether it's going up or down. So once that's done, then we can decide what else we want to do with this. Next thing I want to do is I want to blend my edges and get my points all situated. I want to blend these in. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with the rest of them, is just blend in my connections and get my points where I want them to be. And then we'll go on from there. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back and my points are all done. So now I want to do something to give just a little bit of character. I think we're going to take my very fine point ball tool here, very, very fine point. And I'm just going to give it some texture. Now, if you wanted to, you can actually put a design on it, make stripes or circles or whatever you want, but I just want to give it a little bit of texture. I think I want to put a little bit of mica powder on it as well, give it some depth. And of course, any kind of texture on here is also going to hide any fingerprints we have left. You can use any color you want. You could use a gray and make it look like concrete, or you can use browns and make it look like wood, or just use gold or silver even. And I think I'll show you the pictures at the end of the video of the other ones I have done. Now, had this been a lighter colored clay, I might, in the joints here and here, put a little bit of darker mica powder to make it stand out more. But since this is a dark clay, I think what we're going to use is a lighter mica powder on the top to give it a little more depth. Okay, so we're done with the little texturing, if you could see that. Yeah. And now we're going to put some mica powder on it. Now, since it's a dark green, I'm going to use a lighter green on top of it. A thin brush, a little thin brush. And just take it off the sides of the bottle and just go over just the top. You want to put it on top, but you don't want. I don't want to get too close to where they join, because I want that to be a little bit darker. Yeah, that's good. I think I'll continue doing that. Just as a highlight. I want to get that off. Okay, so this part is ready to go into the oven. That's our knot right there. And then after it comes out of the oven, we're going to decide whether we want to put it on a backing or not. And we will be right back. Okay, so we're back. Here's our piece out of the oven, front and back. Now I want to put a backing on it, but I don't want it to be totally overpowering. So I don't want it a lot bigger than what this is right now. So what I did was I just cut out a circle out of my 18 karat gold, which just barely fits my piece, just like that. Because I do want some kind of backing on it. And because it's the 18 karat gold and I don't want it to just be plain, I'm going to do what I normally do with the backs of my pieces. I'm going to do on the front and the back of this, and I'm just going to make it with some lines through it so it kind of looks like a brushed gold. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you've ever watched my videos, you'll know that I do this with a lot of my backings. So we're just going to do the lines going one way. And you don't have to do this. This is just something I prefer to do. You can put a pattern in it. You could leave it plain. And then we're going to go the opposite direction with the lines. And it just gives a little bit of a brush look, so it's not just plain flat background. And I'm going to do that to the front and to the back. Just clean up the edges so we don't have any little things floating around. Where do I need it? And now, of course, we're going to need to put some Bacon Bond on this, or whatever adhesive you use, because we're doing baked clay with raw clay. You don't need a lot. Just need to spread it around everywhere. And then we're going to set it on our backing. Trying to get it as even as possible on the back. And I don't mind that it's hanging over the sides a little bit. I actually kind of like that. Press that down. So we're going to put this back in the oven for 30 minutes. Then we're going to put some resin on it, put a bail on it, and we'll be all done. So I will be right back. So here is our piece out of the oven and cooled. We put a bail on it, and now we are going to resin it. And I usually start with the back. And I have a dedicated brush that I use for my resining. I also should mention that if you do use a brush for doing the resin, make sure you cover the brush, because if you don't, even if it's just light in your room, it's going to get cured at some point, and you're just going to need to get another one. So I always cover it with a piece of foil so that the light doesn't get to it, and I can just keep on using it and it stays soft. So we're going to put this in the UV light for half an hour. I do have a LED light UV, and it has a half-hour timer on it, which I like very much, because I like things to be very well cured. We're going to hit it with our torch, get any bubbles out. Always want to check it really well because it doesn't always get in all the little nooks and crannies when I do the texturing on here. We want to make sure it's all the way to the edge. We're going to hit it with our torch one more time. And we're going to put that in the UV lamp. So I will put that in the lamp, and then I will come back after it's completely resined on both sides to show you the final product. So I will be right back. So here is our piece completely finished. It's resined on the front and the back, and has its bail and our little logo. Should always put your name on everything that you make. And that is our tutorial for today. Here are some other examples of knots that I have made, and I used the exact same technique of cutting out the pieces, overlapping them, putting the indentations where they go on the top and the bottom, and just resining them and putting the bails on them. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.